Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We teach our children the importance of keeping our promises. During the last election campaign, the Premier promised a better deal for the cities. The Mayor of Calgary has said publicly that he has a memorandum of understanding clearly stating the province's commitment to explore all avenues to reduce financial hardships faced by our big cities. A very liberal proposal. Apparently, it's all a misunderstanding, as the Minister of Municipal Affairs recently denied municipalities any concessions on new funding or taxing powers. To the Premier, who is right, the Mayor of Calgary or the Minister of Municipal Affairs?
To stand and answer that question, which is actually on government policy. What I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is that our Minister of Municipal Affairs is in the middle right now of negotiating what I think will be a new deal for cities that are truly going to make a difference to the lives of people in our cities. Now, I understand that one of the mayors of those cities believes that the solution is more taxes. It is not the view of this government. It is not the view of this minister, and we will not support that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the Premier recognizing a good question on policy. But, Mr. Speaker, I do have a problem with the fact that the Premier doesn't respect one of our major mayors of our cities. Given that a big city charter must include a decision on municipal finances, and given that this government has yet again flip-flopped on a clear election promise made by this Premier. To the Premier, who's in charge, you or the Minister of Municipal Affairs, who reneged on your promise?
Honourable Premier.
The Minister of Municipal Affairs and this government and me are entirely aligned with the fact that there are people, not in 2 cities in this province, Mr. Speaker, but in 7 cities in this province, that are committed to ensuring a better quality of life. Our first step forward with respect to big city charters, looking at Calgary and Edmonton, is our first opportunity to work not only with mayors, but with the citizens of those cities, with our Minister of Municipal Affairs, with council members in those cities to determine how to move forward. But, Mr. Speaker, everything is about effective delivery of services. It is not about taxation.
Honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Alberta Liberals have been very clear that any discussion with municipalities needs to be based on 3 principles: respect for them as being equal partners, sustainable, predictable revenue for them, and sharing responsibility to meet the needs of all citizens. To the Premier, as your government continues to download responsibilities to our municipalities, why do you still refuse to give our local leaders the revenue and respect and dignity that's rightfully theirs?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the honourable member that those are principles with respect to any negotiations that we should have not only with city mayors in Calgary and Edmonton, but with all municipal leaders and Albertans in general. But what I will say, Mr. Speaker, is that as we look to what's happening in our 2 largest cities, we know that we have to think differently with respect to the delivery of services. One of the things that's so important, not only in this discussion, but in the work that our Minister of Human Services is doing with respect to social policy framework, is how we ensure that the provincial government funding that is available is shared amongst communities to effectively support citizens. And that's what this discussion is about, Mr. Speaker.